We arrived at Kiev, guys.
Ukraine has a very terrible location for Ukraine. We are in between Europe and Russia. So that's our biggest problem.
Ukraine has a strategic location between Russia and the European Union. I mean, it's...
So in 2014,
We arrived at Ukraine because there's a problem between Russia and Ukraine, but this is not new. It's a very old one.
To the latest on Russia and Ukraine.
What's the expected scenario to any possible Russian military action?
Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed rebels
meant to deter Russian President Vladimir Putin from invading Ukraine.
Russia sees Ukraine as part of its history, and it's impossible that it lets it out of its control. And to understand what's going on, we have to go back to World War II. After the end of World War II, there were new countries, territories, and powers. There were two pacts, the Warsaw Pact, and Warsaw is the name of the Polish capital, and NATO, which comprises the US and European countries. A pact between countries that defend each other. Ukraine became like a victim. I'll tell you why.
hi, my name is Julia. I'm from Ukraine. Yeah, I'm born in Kiev, and I've lived here for 20 years. For many, many years, we have been told that we are, brothers with other countries that were in Soviet Union, such as Russia, Belarus, but mostly with Russia, and Russia considers themselves big brother. However, I don't think how it can be called a big brother, considering the fact that Ukraine was founded, the Kiev was founded before Moscow. Yeah, you don't just treat brothers like that.
Okay guys, we arrived at the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, in the middle of war. Then competition started between the two pacts, which was called the Cold War, until the USSR fell.
In Moscow, the hammer and sickle is lowered for the last time, and an era comes to an end.
And countries got separated in 1991, including Ukraine, and NATO stood there. In 2014, everything changed.
Russian troops moving swiftly to take control of military bases in Crimea, where voters decided to rejoin Russia.
People have been talking about Russia possibly attacking Ukraine, but maybe people don't know or forgot that Russia has already attacked us.
Imagine that this was in 2014. It's not that long ago, when war happened in the east of Ukraine. A lot of people died.
Well, so it was a big war, huh?
It is still remaining there.
People died from here?
Yeah, for sure.
How many people died in Ukraine?
Currently, I guess something like 14,000 people died.
Russia tried to restore its glory. It invaded Ukraine in 2014 and took Crimea Peninsula. Do you see it there? Tatar Muslims live there, but Russia came and took it without any dispute. It's in the Black Sea with a strategic location. That's why Russia took it. Here, Russia got a little stronger because the West didn't lift a finger. Because it's located between Russia and Europe and the West. So if NATO took Ukraine, Russia is in trouble. For instance, if Russia attacks Ukraine, NATO will have to defend Ukraine, and thus it stops Russia. Putin went out and gathered a large army at the borders. He had demands for the US. He made a list and sent it to the West. He had a lot of demands. One of them is that NATO shouldn't spread more than this. He needed a written guarantee from the US that NATO doesn't go near them, doesn't take Ukraine. Of course, the Americans refused right away. And this is what undermined trust between Russia and the West.
We don't have hatred towards Russian people.
What's happening right now is painful. It's hurting a lot of people from Russia or Ukraine. It's no surprise that Russia is being viewed as aggressor country, same as US, same as China, but it doesn't mean that people are aggressive.
Welcome to Ukraine.
Of course, Russia considers Ukraine as old history for it. Did you know that Kiev was there before Russia? But they are of the same race. Russia always treats Ukraine as its little brother. However,
I do understand that people from other countries have no idea about that, but if you, let's say, watch a movie, a Russian movie, there will be a Ukrainian character there. This person, the Ukrainian, will be someone like a village-like person, less educated, less class, if I might say. Yeah. So we even have a special word for Ukrainians that Russians call us. They call us hochli. And what does that mean? That's basically some kind of person like not very smart, not very cool. We also have a special word for them. I do not encourage language like that at all. In general, I think we people should be respectful, peace and love and everything.
Eastern Ukraine, where the war happened at the borders of Russia, Donbas are separatists, and look what happened, a lot of people died.
But in the east of Ukraine, people live through horror.
And in 2014, some Ukrainians of Russian origins with weaponry support from Russia fought against the Ukrainian army. After many battles and negotiations, they decided to create two states, Luhansk Republic and Donetsk Republic, and there was a ceasefire.
Trying to take them over. Last night, they managed to capture a Ukrainian naval.
And now, Russia is trying to direct these two countries to harass the Ukrainian army, so that war starts from there and as an excuse for the Russian army to invade Ukraine. That's what's happening now. And it's possible that any day now, war will start, and nobody knows the consequences. Where could it go? If it reaches Europe, it will affect the whole world.
Eastern Ukraine are not good. Women, children and the elderly told to leave by the Russian-backed separatist leaders who claim it is for their own protection against what they call Ukrainian acts of sabotage and terror.